Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sky Ranch podcast. I'm so excited that you have joined us today. We have a really exciting conversation planned about all things camp fun, a day in the life of a Sky Ranch camper. We're going to talk about our Phase 1 program, Sky 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I have two guests joining me today, and that is Miss Kylie Lamm and Mr. Weston Salanty.
Yeah, Kylie.
Wow, Weston.
So if you guys want to first introduce yourselves and tell me a little bit about what you do and your history at Sky Ranch.
Ladies first.
Okay, I'll go first. Well, I am our Sky 1 and 2 manager, and so I get to run all things 1st through 5th grade during the summer, which is so wonderful. But I was a camper at Sky Ranch my whole life, which was awesome. Got to go through the life map, and I worked all my college summers, and so for 3 summers in college, I got to come out and be a part of camp, and ultimately led to, me desiring to work here full-time and to continue to pour into the ministry. And so now I work here full-time, and it's so wonderful.
It's awesome.
Come on. Actually, I knew Kylie when she was a camper, which you also knew me when I was a camper, which is crazy.
True.
My name is Weston. I don't know. I'll look at you, Claire. My name is Weston. I was a camper at Sky Ranch for a long time. I worked in high school. I worked in college and stepped onto the full-time team a few years ago. I worked in Sky 3 and 4 before stepping into my current role, which is the senior summer camp manager of Phase 1 programs, meaning I oversee the full-time summer staff and campers of all Sky 1, Sky 2, Sky 3, Sky 4, and Young Rider programs.
That's awesome. All right. Okay, so Kylie, tell me about all things Sky 1 and 2. You talked a little bit about the ages, so incoming 1st through 5th grade, but just what are some of your favorite things about Sky 1 and 2, that age and stage, and some of the programmings and things that you have planned for those kids?
Yeah, it's so wonderful. I love Sky 1 and 2 because we get to introduce camp to these campers, overnight camp. And so they get to come, and especially our Sky 1 campers, they're experiencing this for the first time. And so we get to show them what it is like to be at camp, to have crazy amounts of fun, but to grow into, knowing who God is deeper. And along that comes Sky 2 as they get a little bit older, a little bit more established in their years at camp. And so I love Sky 1 and 2 because we get to lay that foundation of, this is what it's like to come to camp. This is what we're going to do at camp. And we take a great weight to it that, we are getting these campers for the first time. And they're coming to overnight camp, and they're not used to making new friends or going outside of their comfort zone. But we get to equip our staff to love and care for them well. We meet with our staff, and it's like, okay, we are getting these campers at a young age, and they're going to experience a lot of firsts. And so how do we take care of them well, and make sure that we're walking through these big life moments with them of coming to overnight camp, and a lot of them for the first time having to learn how to make new friends in that way that it's not the kids that they go to school with every day. Some campers, they come by themselves, and we get to, how do we make connections and love one another well, and then also get to experience the activities of camp for the first time of, our Sky 1 campers, when they go to the lake and they go to the blob, they're like, what is a blob? And we get to teach them. That's a fun aspect of camp that we get to show them, hey, how do we face our fears and try new things in a new environment, which I think is so cool as a manager, just to kind of get to watch from an above angle of my counselors are the ones that are doing the day in and day out, but when I get to go to those activities and participate in those activities with them, getting to see our campers, their eyes open to a lot more than they experience at home, which is so fun. And then also on the spiritual growth side, we get to introduce them to the foundations of who God is. And that is something that we don't take lightly, that we know that these campers are walking in a lot of times with not a lot of knowledge of who God is, foundations of what it looks like to be a Christian and to follow God. And so, we get to walk them through, what is the gospel? What does that mean for you? And make it make sense for them. And that doesn't mean watering down the gospel at the expense to try to make it make sense, but this is the gospel in its entirety. And this is what you need, and this is why you need it. And a lot of times we get questions of, well, who is Jesus? Yeah, that makes sense. You're 6 and 7, and we want to tell you who he is, and want to do it in a way that is honoring to the Lord, but we're able to make it make sense in their brains. And so it's really cool of getting to watch these campers grow developmentally, but also in their spiritual growth, that we get to walk them along through their entire years of Sky 1 and 2. We continue to lay that foundation, and we still do that in Sky 3 and 4 with Phase 1. But we want to do it well because, if we're not laying this foundation for them well, then anything else we try to teach them on top of that won't make sense, because first and foremost, they need to come to saving faith to know who God is, and that is our desire for them, to be able to follow God and to know him deeper. And so Sky 1 and 2, we do a lot of programming within that. Don't know how much you want me to go into that right now, but it's cool just to see them for the first time get to grow and to love camp, and hopefully that leads them coming back more years after years into Sky 3-4 and then up into phase 2.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, Weston, tell me about Sky 3-4.
No idea how I'm going to follow that up. That was great. Sky 3 is rising 6th and 7th graders. Mm-hmm. Sky 4 is rising 8th and 9th graders. They're amazing. I think that if you've met a 6th grader, you've met them all. But at the same time, if you've met a 6th grader, you've met a one-of-a-kind kid.
Yes.
There is such a weird part about growing up, especially in that middle teen, preteen era, where they're growing physically, they're growing emotionally, and honestly, their feelings are often way, way, way bigger than they're able to actually comprehend or act out. And so what we do is we provide a really fun, challenging, we introduce some new like high adventure camp stuff, but as well as we introduce new night events for kids who have been coming for a while. But our goal is still the same as it is in Sky 1 and 2. All of phase 1, Sky 1, Sky 2, Sky 3, and Sky 4, the word that determines that guides our curriculum is learn. Yeah. We want our campers to leave learning who God is. You cannot have saving faith without a basic fundamental understanding that Christ has come, he has died, and he has risen again on behalf of those who cannot save themselves. And so that's the goal of everything we do. Sky 3 is really, really fun. It starts to we start to stay up later. We start to do some different night events that are really, really exciting, like Mission Impossible, shout out.
So
And then the cabins really get a greater sense, I think, of cabin unity as well. That like campers for a long time start to remember, oh, I was in your cabin in Sky 3, starting around Sky 3 and Sky 4. So they start to form a long-form connection with Sky Ranch around that time. And then Sky 4 is kind of like its own little island. It's a very small Sky level, but it is 8th and 9th graders, and it is just the best. Sky 4, they have the best cabin. They're right on the lake. We get to do something called Journey, which is an additional complimentary Bible study that we do with them. And it's really, really fun just to be with those kids and to be with the 8th and 9th graders as they're starting to navigate high school and what that's going to look like. And they're going through so much, and we just get to be there, relieve them all the stress and the anxieties. And also, in Sky 4, I'll tell you this, they become friends with people they would never be friends with.
That's true.
Like every type of kid starts to hang out at Sky 4, and so that's a really, really special thing about what we get to do.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, now Kylie, would you mind walking us through what a day in the life of Sky 1-2 looks like?
Yes, I would love to. Okay, so our Sky 1 and 2 campers, they get up probably around like 7, and so what we do in the mornings is, they wake up, we get them ready for the day, and then parents, you'll love this, they clean their cabin. And so obviously they clean it to the best of a Sky 1 and 2 campers' abilities, but it's a really cool time of, okay, like, hey, this is where you're living for the week, and we want to care for it and steward it well. And so our counselors make it really fun, and they all get to do a different chore every day. And so I think their favorite chore is to clean up the porch, because they love to stack the shoes, but also love to decorate the porch, because our leadership team will come in and grade them on their clean cabins, and so they love to leave a little surprise for to hopefully get some more extra bonus points on their clean cabin. And so I think that's their favorite. But it is cool as a cabin. We get to teach them together how to work together, to care for their space, to make their beds, make sure that, we're in a big space sharing this together, and so we want to keep it clean for one another and respect one another's space. And so we do that. And then for our Sky 2 campers, they will sit down and they will do a morning devotional. And so we give them all a booklet that they'll have for the whole week. And so our morning devos go with our Bible study curriculum. And so the goal is to set them up to come into Bible study kind of already knowing a general idea of what they're going to be learning that day, but also show our campers, hey, like, this is what it looks like to study God's word in the morning. And especially I think for a Sky 2 age, like 15 minutes in the morning is super tangible for them to do at home. To open the word of God, to read, to study it. And the way that we build our devotional is to make it easy for them to follow along, to pull from scripture the truth that scripture is clearly saying. And so our Sky 2 campers will do that. Sky 1, not quite yet. And then they'll go to breakfast. Breakfast is at 8. And so They'll have a really fun, awesome meal to get them ready for the day. And then throughout the morning, they'll do about like 3 activities. And so every cabin has their own activity schedule that is specific to them.
Nice.
And so what's really cool is that our campers, it's posted in the cabin, so our campers get to see like what they're going to get to do for that day. And so our counselors love to walk them through that also in the morning. Hey, this is what we're going to be up to today. So our campers are aware, and there's no surprises in their day that, hey, and at this time we're going to come back to the cabin and we're going to put our swimsuits on so we can go do these 2 water activities. And so our campers kind of know what to expect during their day, which I think is really key for Sky 1 and 2, just for them needing to know kind of, okay, like what am I going to be doing with my day? Because this place is new. And so we ask our staff to do that. And so they get to do their fun activities. And so whether that be Bible study in the morning or Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrel is a great time that they get to go to our cafe and to our store and just spend time hanging out with one another. And they love buying the most fun things in the store. Our store does a great job of just finding fun things for our campers that they would love. And so they get to do that. And then lunch is around noon for Sky 1 and 2. And so they'll go back, fuel up for the rest of the day. And then something specific to the Sky 1 and 2 schedule is halftime. And so we love halftime in Sky 1 and 2. We say it's the best time of every day. That's kind of our slogan for it. And so halftime, which we can get more in specifics later, but man, it's strategically designed for safety, fun, and spiritual growth, that we get to pull our campers out, Sky 1 and 2, like kind of the heat of the day, get them inside and have worship, go over Bible study for the day, and then also put on some really fun skits and games for our campers to get to participate in and watch and just make them laugh, to make camp fun. And so we kind of get to facilitate all 3 of our goals within halftime, and it's unique to Sky 1 and 2. It's just for them, and so it's just cool to see all of Sky 1 and 2 get to come into one room together and just to grow in their faith and also laugh and just be a kid. It's a really cool time for kids just to be kids, which I think is really cool. And then they leave halftime and get to go to 3 more really fun, awesome activities. It's the best to get to go. Sky 1 has Cracker Barrel in the afternoon. And so we get to go hang out with them, and we have a splash pad at our Cracker Barrel, which is the best for Sky 1 because they get to buy their milkshake and go hang out on the splash pad. So it's like an extra water activity for them. And so they are all there. It is the place to be if you're a Sky 1 camper. And so it's a really fun part of the day for them as well. And then dinner for Sky 1 and 2 is at 5:30. And so we kind of get to end the day with dinner, and meal times are really fun. We love to make a fun atmosphere during our meal times, but also respecting our campers need a couple minutes to eat, and we want them to feel open. That is our purpose of meal times, but also we want to make it fun. And so we have super fun Sky Ranch videos that we get to play that campers know and they love, because we play them year after year, and they recognize it, and they come up and they request their favorite video to dance to. What is
your favorite video?
Weston, this is a good question. I really love BDAT. It's a Sky Ranch parody video that was made, I don't even know how many years ago.
It was Bevolution 2011.
Oh, super sorry.
There we go.
It went with our summer camp theme way back in the day. I'm not sure quite how to explain this to y'all, but you just have to experience it to
Get
see
off the
it.
couch.
We'll link it.
We'll link it in the podcast, and I really hope y'all get to watch it. That's my personal favorite. Another one that I like is Cowboy Dance.
Cowboy Dance is good.
It's a really good one. Kind of like, I actually don't know how to explain that one either, but they teach them how to do this dance, and there's a song that goes with it. They're all standing in the middle with all their cabins and doing the lasso.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yippee-yi-o,
truly.
I
think there are kids that I see day 1 on Sunday night who, man, they're sitting at like the Sky 1 and 2 table, and they're just stiff as a board, and they're super nervous. But honestly, by Monday dinner, they are up doing the cowboy dance with their cabin mates, without a care in the world. And it's like, okay, man, this place is not so scary. And I think it's why it's important we make it really fun on Sundays too. Not so overwhelming on Sunday night dinner, but hey, this is a fun place to be a kid and to have fun. And I think it's really important for Sky 1 and 2 campers to see that they're getting introduced to so much of camp culture and what camp is, and that, okay, I can get up and do this silly dance, and no one cares that I kind of look ridiculous. Everyone's doing it too, and my counselor's doing it with me, and my counselor's sitting and sharing the same meal with me. And so I think it's really cool that we get to see that in Sky 1 and 2, and then I think even when we get to go to Sky 3 and 4, we see that we taught them in Sky 1 and 2, like they're just doing in Sky 3, but
Yeah.
they walk into the meal like, okay, like when's this song gonna play, or oh, sit by me at this meal, like I want to talk to you about this, or asking their counselor to sit next to them so they can all share a meal all together. And we want it to be fun and an experience that is a safe and comfortable environment for campers, and also
so
tending to their needs
Yeah.
in it. And so
Yeah.
I don't know if that fully answers your question.
No, it does. And I love that you mentioned how our counselors, we talk about this a lot, how our counselors' main role is to be with the campers all day long. And so, one of the perks of them sharing a meal with our campers, which I love that you mentioned, just is a lot of times for those Sky 1 and 2 campers, they're used to eating meals with their families.
Totally.
And so to have someone who's going to be consistently with them through even just the mealtime, that could be a time, that triggers, home, or like, hey, I miss mom, but no, I have my counselor, the same group of 3 or 4 people that are here with me all week. And so just building that trust. And like you said, meal times can come with, pressure. And anyways, I just think it's really great how intentional our staff are in those moments with our kids.
Yeah.
And standing up, having fun, and conversing with them. So
Totally.
so good. I'm sorry, I realized we don't want to stop at dinner.
We'd never stop at dinner. There's
What happens after
There's
dinner,
so
Kylie?
much more. Man, after
So much
dinner
more,
is
okay.
honestly one of my favorite times of the day. It's our night events. And so these are just the times that we have gotten to program Sky Level specific night events for our campers. And so they range from a lot of things. Sky 1 and 2 has some really awesome ones that stay consistent every year, like our carnival, which is really awesome. And they get to come out and play carnival games and earn tickets and go buy snow cones and popcorns and do a slip and slide, and they can put tickets towards putting their counselor in the dunk tank and watching their counselor get dunked. Or we have our rodeo that we do every Wednesday night with Sky 1 and 2, where they get to go and watch a rodeo and cheer on either the red team for Sky 1 or the blue team for Sky 2. And so those are like our classics that we do every year, and that campers, when they come to camp and they're in Sky 1 and 2, they know they're going to get to experience the carnival and the rodeo, and they look forward to it. And we love having those staples for them. I think those have been night events since I was a Sky 1 camper.
Oh, I remember going
Like
to the
it has,
carnival.
I have such vivid memories of going to the carnival and the rodeo. And
Well, they used to be one night event. Do you know that?
Oh, you go from the
We
carnival
go from
to the
carnival
rodeo.
to the rodeo, but now
Thus
we do
has become
double.
two, because
Double time.
why would they both be on the same night? They're just so much fun.
Gotta spread the love.
We
for
have
sure.
to spread the love.
It was too powerful. Of a night.
It was too much.
good.
It was too much for
good.
the people. We
It was
had to
too
make
good.
sure that we separated it out. But yeah, and we have like our Sky 1 and our Sky 2 night events where they get to play mini games, and it kind of looks different every year. We put different themes to them so campers have something fresh so they can come and wear a new outfit every year. And our campers love dressing up for our night events, and our counselors, love dressing up too alongside with them. And so we get to do that, and it's a cool time for our campers to continue to bond with their cabin, especially on those Monday nights when they're still all getting to know one another, to get to do games and activities together. I think it's really good for a cabin, and good of like, man, Monday nights is usually when we see the most homesickness, because man, it's their first really night that they're like, okay, I've been here for a whole day, but then we get to take them to a night event and like, wait, I am having fun, and like, this is awesome. And it gets to, as the night time comes, they just get to experience something that's really fun and exciting for them. And so our night events for Sky 1 and 2 end about 8 o'clock, because they kind of get up earlier, and so we want them to have their rest, because man, they're doing a lot. They're go during the day. And so we end night events about 8, and then they head back to their cabins, and they do shower times, and our counselors will read them bedtime stories and read them scripture, and then get them sent off to bed for the next day. And I forgot to mention this earlier, but another kind of moment of rest we do give our campers is regroup. And so we know that camp is a lot of go and activities, and our campers, they do need rest. And so regroup is a time for them to go back to their cabin, and sometimes our counselors like, well, like have coloring sheets for them to color, or like if they just like want to sit and take a nap on their bed, like we give the space for that. We kind of make it known that regroup is a calm environment, that this is time for us to kind of recharge for the rest of the day. So they'll do like a craft, or campers will sit in a circle and eat the snacks that they have and all just kind of talk. It's a really cool time that they just get to hang out in the cabin. One of my favorite regroup stories is a cabin they made every Thursday, the I think it was like Little House or something, like the Little House talent show. And so they told campers on Monday, like, hey, like, we're going to do a talent show on Thursday. So you have all week during regroup to practice. And then Thursday, was the talent show. And I did that too. And I was a counselor in Sky 3. And we invited all of our leadership team to come and to be the judges of our talent show. They were actually scoring them, but just to be our audience.
Yes.
Close to the mic there. But it's just cool that we get to also do programming within that to make it also another fun moment for campers to experience, but also a rest time. And so, but yeah, that's kind of our day in the life. We do a lot of things, but we also want to prioritize rest and programming within all of that. And so I hope that answered your question. But that's the day in the life of Sky 1 and 2.
Amazing. Can I sign up for Sky 1 and 2?
Please, the more the merrier.
Okay, Weston, let's talk 3-4.
I love it. Before we go any further, I have to apologize. Bevolution, BDAT was 2010.
Oh,
so
thank
sorry.
Let it be known,
that was eating me alive. I got
2011.
I got that wrong.
It's here.
It is here. Sky 3-4 is a pretty similar schedule. So we have a block schedule as well. Mm-hmm. We wake up in 3-4 Morph Quest at 8 a.m. We do the same thing that Kylie talked about. We go into Devos, into personal study of God's Word. We clean. Now, there's a higher expectation of cleanliness for a Sky 4 boy than a Sky 1 girl.
Parents are listening to this going, there's no way my kid is cleaning their cabin.
They do.
Begrudgingly, but they do it.
They are doing it.
They don't love it, but they do it.
You make it fun enough. You add spirit. I mean,
spirit
we're going to
points.
go into
Yeah,
all
yeah,
of
yeah,
that. Yeah.
That's easy. That's
sure.
easy. We go to breakfast at 9. We have 4 activity blocks, including a regroup, a Cracker Barrel, a Bible study. Then they have lunch. We have no halftime like Sky 1 and 2 does in 3-4. Then we have 4 activity blocks in the afternoon. We have dinner. And then we have our halftime type thing. It's called Lodge. So Lodge is our time for intentional programming. We do something called a Lodge Talk, which is kind of like a miniature sermon, usually about 10 to 20 minutes for kids of this age, usually accompanied with some worship. So we do that 4 times a week. Tuesday night, we have something called Fun Lodge, where we do skits, and it's crazy. It's called Flodge. It's amazing. All 3 of us have done Flodge at one.
Oh, yeah.
That's
and
true.
we're smiling through the
It's
it's a fun time, but
it's so fun.
Oh man, it's
Make
good.
bee sounds or fly sounds.
It's
That's a if you know you know kind of
you
thing
know.
for the podcast.
We write skits every week. So last year our core wrote some skits and they were okay. They were not.
We have some classic.
We have classic Skyrim skits.
But you know what? Innovation doesn't happen by doing nothing. You know?
Correct.
We got to write new skits.
It's funny. It's always fun.
Yeah, and there's a guy named, so the full-time manager for 3-4 is a guy named Gabe Von Oven. He's a great catalyst for those skits, and he loves that. So we do Lodge, and then we have our night events, and then our nights usually end around kind of an average of 9:30, and then they go back, shower, and get to bed. We maintain a presence in the cabin room with campers until all campers are asleep.
Yep.
So 3-4 Morph Quest kids tend to love stories, but we'll do like a Q&A, kind of like a fun thing at night. We'll also read often to them. Some guys will play, some girls as well. We'll also play guitar. But yeah, it's a great time, and then the kids will drift off to sleep, and then counselors always have a moment at the end of the night where they kind of gather up and do check-in on how the day went and update on any necessary information. But schedule's pretty similar. It's really, really great. It runs like a well-tuned clock, you know.
That's great. It does. It's amazing. So we talked a little bit about this when talking about meals, but what do you feel like is so significant about the fact that in all of these programs, the counselors are with the kids the entire day?
It's how campers are safe, both physically, emotionally, and spiritually. With adult supervision, which supervision is, we have an entire global class. We train every single summer staff on the topic of supervision. What are the principles of watching and keeping an eye for what is going on? How do you notice the things that are likely to go unnoticed, you know? And when campers and counselors are present together, campers are safer. And the second that campers aren't safe, they have a bad time.
Right.
Campers have more fun. Because who doesn't want a cool college student that wears cool shoes and has cool shirts and says cool stuff and is awesome hanging out with you, right? And all that leads to our third goal and our third pillar of spiritual growth, that I do not believe Skyrim would be as effective as a ministry bringing the light of the gospel to the darkened hearts of young men and women and families or whatever. Just the truth of the gospel coming in, right? Could not be done without a relationship built previously, and we build that relationship through a constant a constant experience together through being in the water. We talk about this whenever we recruit. When I tell staff, like, you're not going to lifeguard. Your responsibility, your counselor, if you're going to be a counselor, you will be in the pool with kids instead of lifeguarding. Now, we do have some really awesome activities and lifeguard staff that help us do that, and those are called support staff. Those people are necessary for Sky Ranch to function. But from a camper standpoint, that relationship cannot be built unless the counselor is with you. And so it is by far the most effective way to keep campers safe and to make sure they have a great and spiritually fulfilling time at camp.
For sure.
And I just remember, and I'm sure you guys have had these moments, being a college counselor, thinking, being on the water slide or the torpedo with these campers that you have gotten to know very deeply, very quickly, and thinking, I can't believe I'm getting paid right now. Like, I cannot believe we get paid to play and we get paid to have these experiences with them. And to get to know them and get to share the love of Jesus. Like, it is just truly the best job in the world.
Yeah,
It is.
And so that's why we're all here.
Yeah.
So that's great. We chatted a little bit about this, but go into Cracker Barrel. Some people may be thinking, that's a breakfast restaurant that has
Totally
rocking
get that.
chairs. What is that in the context of Sky Ranch, and why is that time impactful?
Do you know why it's called Cracker Barrel?
Oh, Weston,
get
are you
some
about
history?
to educate me and all of our listeners?
I think maybe I'm bringing this how I know what it
Please.
is. So I was a Boy Scout. Shout out. Fun fact about me. Yeah, y'all didn't know that. You didn't know that, did you?
I don't think I did.
I think I
Weston.
did, but only a couple weeks
I did not
ago.
get my Eagle Scout. I'm a life. I got the rank right before it, Life for Life. It's how they make fun of us. But we would do something. We would do the whole camping day. We'd do our chuck troughs. We'd cook our dinner. We'd clean. And then at night, we would do something called Cracker Barrel, where we would just eat snacks right before bed.
Oh.
So I think it's just like a term for snack time.
Wow.
And so I don't know.
We
But
may never know, but this is Weston's theory.
But
Anyways,
this is
that's my
Weston's
theory.
take.
This is
It
his
is.
take.
It is indeed a time for snacks.
It is a
Indeed,
time for snacks.
it is a time for snacks.
But it's a time where we can do kind of two things. One, we give kids choice. So often in programs across America and youth programs, kids are told what to do. They're told to file in line, and they're told they're supposed to act and think and play a certain way, which all that's great. We do a lot of that at Sky Ranch. But at the same time, sometimes kids want to choose where to go. And so we create an environment where it is safe that no matter what choice they make, they're going to have a great experience and they're going to have fun. And so we kind of open up half of our legacy center. We have a Cafe Sky. We have 2 stores. We have a place where these game cubes are, not like Nintendo game cubes.
Like
that
wooden.
actually is going to be really confusing.
That is confusing now that I realize.
Now that you realize
they're
that,
big wooden boxes.
they're big
that
wooden
have
boxes.
like checkers and
Checkers,
chess,
tic-tac-toe,
and
chess.
old school games.
Old school
Yes,
games,
Jenga, you know.
everything's. A lot of campers play chess and checkers.
love it.
And then we also have an outdoor section where boys will just throw the football, throw the baseball. People will just kind of just sit around and hang out. So a camper goes to Cracker Barrel. They know they need to stay within this certain boundary, but they can walk around and hang out with their friends as they so please, with their counselors. We have counselors constantly monitoring and
everywhere.
walking around. But also kids get to drink milkshakes and funnel
yeah.
fries. And it's the best. And pucker powder. And
Pucker powder.
peace teas.
That
like
took over
That took over.
the Cracker Barrel world
Oh,
one
wow.
summer.
Yeah.
And I feel like one of parents' favorite things to do is to go on their account and look at all of the
It's despicable.
Oh,
to
yes.
see what their kids decided
What's a
to.
donut
I mean,
boat?
a brownie. You got a brownie boat again?
You had 2
I'm like,
brownie
when I
boats?
was a camper, I bought 8 stuffed animals.
Oh wow!
And my mom wrote me a letter and said it was.
We need to chill on the
we
stuffed
need to
animals.
have
Bro, you
not.
would.
I
8?
know. I was in Star Creek. I was a little Sky 2. Actually, I think
love
Star
that.
Creek was Sky 1 at that point.
It might have been.
But
I think it was-
at the end of the day, that you got to choose.
It was my
You got to
choice.
choose.
Yes.
It was my choice. But I think my mom felt inclined to maybe give me a nice suggestion that maybe
on how to manage that ranch.
money
bank.
managing a little
Yes.
bit for my ranch bank account.
That's
but
good.
they do get to choose, and it's really
Yeah.
fun for them. And I think walking around and seeing Sky 1 and 2 campers walk in the store, and I get to help them shop a lot of times, and
Yeah.
they're like, wow, like there's so many options, and it's just so fun for them to get to have that
Totally.
choice.
And I feel like that's also a really sweet time for good conversations
Yes.
between
100%.
Totally.
counselors and campers.
It is probably the highest volume activity where we have one-on-one conversations with campers. And so all of our staff will meet, or all of our counselors will meet with each one of their campers in their small group at least one time throughout the week, and that happens a lot during Cracker Barrel. You told the story about your mom. My mom used to be like, all right, I'm going to give you extra money this year so you can get a T-shirt. Never bought a T-shirt.
And that
Two
is
more
where she went
milkshakes.
wrong.
3 more sodas. I'm all about the food, you know what I mean?
That's great. I remember being at Cracker Barrel as a camper and just really thinking, I've got to manage this every single day, and I'm going to get it down to like pennies before I leave. So good. And also I love the fact that our counselors are not going to let a camper leave without knowing where they are, what's going on in their life, whatever a camper is comfortable sharing, where they are spiritually. Like our counselors really do want to see and know them and encourage them and walk alongside them. And so that's one of the things that I really love. And so we've talked about halftime, we've talked about regroup, we've talked about lodge. Would you mind sharing a little bit about, we've talked about, spirit points, spirit stick, there's these things called fat bats and grubbies.
Yeah.
Enlighten me on all of that.
I think these are things that really are so, like, you think of Sky Ranch fun aspects, you think of these things. They're so, I feel like, unique to Sky Ranch that it's so cool that we get to do this. And so it looks different for Sky 1 and Sky 3-4. I'll talk about Sky 1 and 2, and you can take Sky 3-4. Sky 1 and 2, we have something called the Spirit Stick.
Hiya.
And it literally is a stick. We have a little shorter one for Sky 1 because they're a little shorter, and then a taller one for Sky 2. It's all in the details.
All intentional.
All intentional. Yeah. But it is so fun that, the Spirit Sticks is to encourage cabin involvement and cabin unity. And so all of our cabins have chants for their cabins that are just unique to them. And so we tell them, okay, we want to hear you doing your cabin chants across camp. Or when you run into halftime, we want to see involvement. And you also doing those cabin chants when, the time is necessary. And so every day at the end of halftime, a Sky 1 cabin and a Sky 2 cabin wins the Spirit Stick. And it is the best thing ever. When we announce that it's time to give away the Spirit Stick, I have never seen campers rise to their feet
They're
faster.
locked in.
They're locked in. They're all doing their cabin chants. They want this Spirit Stick. And it is just the best time. And so we have a chant for the Spirit Stick where we warm them up. And then we get to award a cabin with that. And so they get to carry the Spirit Stick around until the next day at halftime. And then Saturday, at our closing show, parents will see this, but we do one last Spirit Stick award, and so we award it to the cabin with the most spirit throughout the whole week. And so really the goal of this is just to inspire cabin unity and overall just excitement to be in their cabin and to unify them as cabin mates together. And it is, so much fun. And all the cabins, their names are on the Spirit Sticks, and it is just so unique to Sky 1 and 2. And a way that also kind of works into, who gets to win the Spirit Stick at the end of the week is that every cabin has something called a grubby. And so you might be wondering, what is a grubby? I will let you know. It is a stuffed animal that the counselors get to buy and choose for their cabin, and they give it sometimes a little background story, and it's on a stick. And so our campers get to carry this around all weekend, and it's their cabin mascot. And it is one of their favorite things. And so, the goal and the game that we get to create with Grubbies with Sky 1 and 2 is that, okay, if you leave your grubby at an activity and another cabin finds it, then they get to carry your grubby around until the next meal time. And we turn them in at meal times, and cabins get to sing songs, and they get to that's mainly what they do. They just sing songs.
It was
Sky 1 and 2,
a lot of compliments.
A lot of compliments. Just do a fun small little task to get your grubby back. And so it really, campers, they love it. The boy campers, when they get tasked to serenade a cabin with Let It Go, for sure, I want my grubby back, and they think it's so fun and so funny. And so all of our leadership team also has grubbies, and so we introduce them at the beginning of the week during halftime. This is also man, for our campers to also know, like, okay, who is the manager? Who are the core people who are running our night events? Just kind of make us also more familiar faces to add that other safety aspect to camp. We do it in a fun way, but when we all have our own grubbies, and so I carry around my grubby, and every activity I go to, they're always trying to take my grubby from me. Last year, my grubby was a butterfly. Bizzle the butterfly, named after my favorite street at Texas A&M. Shout out. But they had to, like, pretend they were like a flying animal and run around like an airplane and tell me like where they were going, like little fun things like that to get our leadership's grubbies, and so it kind of adds to the whole fun aspect of camp. And so we don't really tally up points more. We do that more for Sky 3 and 4. But our grubbies and cabin chants and spirit sticks, and we do also do roll call one day at halftime, where our cabin will work together and create a roll call, and they'll come up and perform it, and there's always like a winner of the roll call, and so that adds to who gets the spirit stick at the end of the week. And so it's always really fun for them just to participate more in camp activities. And I think those little things make camp super fun. And so
it's good.
Yeah, Camp Champ. Okay.
Camp Champion.
All of Camp Champion. All of Sky 3-4 Morph and Quest compete in a it's like 21 cabin wide program game throughout the entire week. And the goal of the game is to accumulate points. The cabin with the most points at the end of the week is crowned Camp Champ. So we have 2 winners from the 2 different age groups, and you get points in a lot of ways. We talk about this. We always do our mint on the pillow joke during closing show, but the better cleaned cabins get points. If you win games like Mission Impossible or SNL, which is our dance, you get points. But the main way you
Sky
get
Night
Sky Night Live. The main way you get points is by stealing fat bats. So in the same way that a Sky 102 cabin has a grubby, it's a stuffed animal on a stick, we bought like wiffle ball bats that are like inflated. And they're huge. They're literally fat bats. And counselors duct tape them. And decorate, but usually it's with duct tape. It's with duct tape.
I mean, it's durable for the summer,
it's sturdy.
For sure.
Duct tape during our staff training. They give it a name and a story very similarly. And so the cabin's goal is to keep a hold of that fat bat throughout the week. And so they can steal other cabins' fat bats through most times. Obviously, during like a Bible study, we don't
like
do
they're
fat
not
bats.
running up and taking
No.
It must be dropped or left
like
somewhere.
no one's touching it.
So it's a super fun thing that we get to do. But also, the same way that Sky 102 leadership carries grubbies, 3-4 Morph Quest leadership carries fat bats. My fat bat, I had one for many, many years. He was an ex-Dallas Maverick. We don't need to talk about him.
We can't get into that right now.
He got traded. There was like a trade or something that
it's still touchy.
It's fresh.
He did get retired. I mean, I almost remade him in purple and gold, but that would have felt that would have hurt me too much.
We couldn't do that.
But we have fat bats, and it makes us approachable. You know, like at Sky Ranch, everyone is there to have fun. Everyone there is to help campers have a great experience. And so I remember as a kid, I stole a leader's fat bat, and I was the man. I was him. I won life. I was like, guys, I got
like
Max.
That made your
I
whole
got
year.
Tantor.
Oh, Tantor.
Tantor. Exactly. Yeah. And so that's been really fun. And so there's a lot of great fat bats. Often campers know us by our fat bats.
Yeah, we do.
That's really great. And something parents may not know. I mean, you brought up Little House, and we have fun, creative names for our cabins. All of our cabins have a cabin namesake. It's named after someone. Would you mind kind of going into that and the character qualities and maybe some of your favorite cabin names?
Yeah, we have cabins named after great men and women of history who have come before us and who have shown a specific definable character trait. And so people like C.S. Lewis and creativity. Cabin 7, The Roar, is named after C.S. Lewis. We have a Booker T, Cabin 9, named after Booker T. Washington. You know, we have Wilberforce, named after the British liberator William Wilberforce. You know, we have the Bridge, named after C.T. Studd and the Cambridge 7. So we have a bunch of cabin names that are out there that exist. But what are some of your favorites?
Okay, my top favorite one, this is probably cliche because I was a counselor in this cabin, but Amy Carmichael. I honestly didn't know who she was until I was placed in the cabin to be a counselor in Carmichael. But what's really cool is her character quality is selfless service, and getting to learn her story and what she did. And it's really cool that, in all of our cabins we have these signs and these posters that, teach our campers, who is this person that your cabin is named after? What is their character quality? And on Sundays, our counselors, they walk through that. That your cabin name isn't just a name, but this is the person, and this is why, we want to know who they are, because it's really cool. And I think that's unique to Sky Ranch that, our cabins, they're not just named after random things, but people, men and women who fought for the Christian faith, who selflessly served, who had generosity. We want to teach these character qualities to our campers. Right. And I think it's another moment of no time is wasted. No detail at Sky Ranch is wasted for camper growth and development and spiritual growth. And so, it was so cool. Like, my campers would ask us so many questions more about who Amy Carmichael was, that I had to buy an Amy Carmichael book and really do some more reading up on it. But they truly do learn from those models and those examples, and it's just another piece that we get to show them. But Carmichael probably is one of my favorites, but also Elliott House. Elizabeth Elliott, a great woman of the faith. We can glean so much from her wisdom, and just getting to walk campers through that. I remember when I was a camper in E-House, learning who, that's the first time I ever learned who Elizabeth Elliott was, as I think an 8th grader. And I remember I read an Elizabeth Elliott book that summer after I left Sky Ranch. A book that, just shaped so much of who I was and growing in my spiritual growth. And so just little things like that. That's just another example of everything.
You have a favorite, Claire?
I think I really like Ten Boom, Corey
Ten
Ten
Boom,
another hero of the faith, and that's our youngest Sky One girls, and so that's one that comes to mind that I really love. I know we've talked a lot about this, all of us being campers at Sky Ranch, but I just want to share y'all to share a little bit just about the impact that going through the life map, experiencing all of these programs from phase 1 all the way through phase 3, how that has impacted you.
I could talk about this topic for all day. I think truly being a camper my entire life at Sky Ranch has really shaped me into the woman that I am today. My parents were the parents that they sent my brother the year first. They were nervous. They were like, okay, I've never heard of Sky Ranch. So they sent older brother first. And I remember I cried the entire way home. I was 5 and I was like, I want to be at camp. Like, why did you take me home? And my mom's like, okay, and my brother had a great time, and it was such a great experience. And so my parents sent me along the next year. And I remember walking into Tim Boom for the first time, and my mom says that there was this little girl that was in the corner so scared and so nervous. She said that I just walked up to her and was like, hey, do you want to be friends? And but I think that goes to sending your camper in Sky One, there is campers who are nervous, but campers who also are ready to go, and they get to be together and befriend one another and push one along side that. But I went to Sky Ranch first grade all the way through my Sigma senior year through 12th grade. And my family also got to be part of the family camp program. And so year after year, I was continuing to know who God was deeper. I came to know the Lord at Sky Ranch Family Camp up at Ute Trail. And just through what I was learning and my parents, what they were teaching there, I got to have an awesome conversation with my family during our separate family devotional time. And they shared the gospel with me again, something that they've been doing year after year. But I finally understood the weight and my need for a Savior. And the way that was so celebrated, and I got to learn so much that week of what it looks like to be a new believer. And then I got to go back to Van and go back that next year. And I see such pivotal moments in my time at Sky Ranch that pushed me forward more in my faith. My favorite summer, was my last year at Sky Ranch in Quest when I was in Elliott House. But truly, my counselors in that cabin really challenged me in the way that I approach gospel conversations. I think that's something that I guess we'll dive into later in this podcast series of what phase 2 is about. But we really do push our campers. How do you have gospel conversations, and what does that look like to talk to people who maybe don't know the Lord? And I remember sitting there being like, my job is to be on defense. And that is my task. That, when I leave this place, I'm to continue to be on defense. And there was just a moment that I remember, that clicked for me, that I knew who God was and I had saving faith, but I was then given the resource to really how to do it well. And that is a byproduct of, me learning the foundation in Sky One.
Yes.
I was someone who I knew who God was. My parents were believers, but it's something different when you come to camp and you have really cool counselors who are like, this is who God is. And I'm like, wait, I really do want to listen to that. It's not just something my parents are telling me at home. This is something that people actually are living out. And these college girls who I want to grow up to be one day, and not because of they're really cool, but no, they love God. And I see that. And I really learned that foundation in Sky One, and continued that into Sky Two, and then Sky 3 and 4, got to continue to ask questions, and then moved up to Morph and Quest, and then got to go to Sigma Junior and Sigma Senior, and really just be challenged and taught what it looks like to study scripture. And then, I came back. And I got to participate in phase 3, and to come back and to pour into this place. And my first summer working as a counselor, it was truly so pivotal of what does it look like to actually selflessly serve for the sake of the gospel, and to lay down all of my desires, because for sure it is 7 a.m. and I am so exhausted because it's week 4 of me being a counselor to these Sky 3 girls. But hey, that's not what matters. That I didn't come to camp to play, and to be comfortable, but I came to be uncomfortable, and to serve. And I remember being in staff training that first summer as a counselor, and sitting down, and we were being taught, it's a class we do every year, is the theology of the gospel, that we walk with our staff through. And this is the theology of the gospel, because you need to know this in this entirety in order to convey and to teach campers in the way that it is meant to be taught to them. And I remember I was sitting there as just finished my freshman year of college, and I had tears in my eyes because I was like, man, this place that was so pivotal in my growing up and knowing God deeper, really is the real deal.
Yeah.
The way that I was being trained and the way that I was being equipped to care for these campers, I was just in awe. And I loved Sky Ranch my whole life, but I had an even deeper love for it. Knowing the time and the care that they spent to invest in me, a freshman in college, of how do I care for my campers the best? And what does that look like? And how do I convey the gospel to them in the way that they need to hear it? And that is biblically accurate. And so my 3 college summers, grew me in so many ways, and just continued to pour back. And now I get to work here full time. And what a gift that is. I think if you would have asked little Sky One Tim Boom Kylie if I would still be working at Sky Ranch, or have ever worked at Sky Ranch at this time, she'd be like, I don't know, this place is new. We'll see if I like it. I truly fell in love with Sky Ranch not because of how fun it is, because yes, it's so fun, but the way that it aided in my spiritual development. And I truly got to see it come alongside my parents and their discipleship of me, which is really cool. And so I could go on and on, but that's kind of in a nutshell.
That's so good. Weston?
I think the impact of a counselor cannot be overstated. I didn't have brothers. I didn't have older guys in my life that cared about me. I just didn't know anybody. And so I would every year roll up to a place where I was accepted for who I was, which I still am, kind of a quirkier individual in some ways, like books and that type of stuff. And I would be accepted by people who loved God, and I wanted to love God, and then a staff member, a college guy that I wanted to be like, look like, talk like, act like, be everything like, would spend his time and effort to ask me how I'm doing, was tremendously impactful. I came to saving faith at Sky Ranch like Kylie. I was developed at Sky Ranch the first time I shared the Gospels at Sky Ranch. Wow. I have been developed over and over in this place. Year after year. I think it is the wisest investment my parents ever made into my development was sending me to Sky Ranch.
That's good. Y'all have touched on this. There's that transition from phase 1 to phase 2 and phase 3. Weston, what does that look like for a parent who's wondering, okay, when does my camper make that next step from phase 1 to phase 2? What does that look like, and kind of around what age does that happen?
Sure. So this is a great question. I think sometimes when people are registering for Sky Ranch and they have a 7th grader, they're like, where do I send this 7th grader? Because he can go into
there's two options.
There's 2 options. Or my 8th grader can go into 2 options. Right. We do that purposefully. So 6th grade, you can only go to Sky 3. 7th grade, you can go back to Sky 3, or you can go into Morph, which is the first program in our phase 2 leadership camps. 8th grade, you can go to Sky 4, or you can go to Morph. 9th grade, you can go to Sky 4 or to Quest. We allow all of these options in Van because you know your camper best. We believe that parents are so aware and so in tune with where their camper is at that they're able to determine, hey, is this the step for our kid right now? And also, if they're not ready, that's completely fine.
Right.
Sky 4 and Sky 3 are still crazy intentional programs where your kid will hear the gospel taught. They'll be grown in their biblical literacy. There's going to be intentional programming. They're challenged to know God deeper and to think critically about what the Bible says. And they're going to have an awesome time. Spoiler alert, Sky Ranch is fun no matter
what program you're in.
I would say to make the jump from phase 1 to phase 2, ask yourself a few questions about your camper. Does my camper, and there's no moral, ethical yes or no, one's good, one bad, but is my camper desirous of a more intentional relationship with God? And what I mean by that is we do more complementary Christian things. We do discipleship trainings and leadership trainings, and sometimes the 7th grade, he's just not ready for that yet, but he might be ready for that next year, and that's fine.
Yes.
That is fine, because after Sky 4 9th grade and Quest 9th grade, if you were to come back for your 10th grade year, everyone goes to the same place, Quest, Colorado at Horn Creek. And so I personally, as someone who works in phase 1, who believes in life was changed by the programs of phase 2, like me and Kylie have been saying this whole time, our goal is to grow the fundamental understanding of who God is. We are here to teach, and our campers are here to learn. And if they want to stay learning for a few extra years, that's fine. Because guess what? Sky 4 is my favorite program in the history of Sky Ranch. I love Sky 4. You get it, Claire.
I do.
I love Sky 4. Sky 4 is unbelievable.
Weston, it was time for me to move on from my time in Sky 3 and 4, and I very gladly gave the reins and passed the baton over to Weston.
And in that time, Kylie was one of my counselors, and then she was on my leadership team for 2 years. And so all of us have spent time up there in Sky 3 and 4. And
awesome.
I'll also say this. I think if you are really pressed about, hey, is my camper ready? Reach out to guest services. Someone on my team would love to give you a call and talk about your camper. And also realize most of the night events and the actual activities campers go to between phase 1 and phase 2 are the same. So there's small changes here and there, but ultimately the further you get down the line, you can always come in at any time.
Yeah, and phase 2, they're doing all the same fun activities like the blob and the water slides and all that good stuff. So that's really great. Very last question. I know we could talk about this forever, and I think we're over time. But if a parent is still unsure, what kind of vision or picture could you paint of them of what their camper could experience in these programs?
I'm going to speak to the boys.
Okay, you can go.
Okay. This is a personal thing. I think boys, wow, it really sounded like I was about to cry, but I was not. I just need that to be said.
Hey,
There's like
but this is a safe space.
This is a safe space.
If you wanted to.
I don't think a lot of modern classrooms are built for young men.
Yeah.
I just don't. I think generally young boys, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th grade boys are extremely high energy.
Yeah.
That's not a bad thing. That's how God wired these young men to be. Sky Ranch is a place where that is not only accepted but encouraged, that we will bear with your camper in his high energy, so that, by the way, we are high energy too, so we're going to match. Actually, honestly, we have more energy than your son. He won't be able to keep up with that.
Probably.
Honestly.
But what's so great is the way we staff our cabins, there is such a mix. So if you do have that son that likes to read, is more introverted, there is probably going to be a counselor, because we intentionally stack those cabins with a mix. But you are so right in that boys on average
have a lot of energy.
Yes,
they do.
I'll also say this too, to the actual camper. I think at the beginning of the week, people are drawn to people like them. I think by the end of the week in most cabins, they're all the same. They're all there. But I think camp's a great place where young men can grow. I think young men can be challenged to do what is right, not what is easy. I think they can learn more about God. I think they can learn what it means to be a good friend, because when you're at camp and you're there to meet people, sometimes it's hard to make a new friend. But Sky Ranch is such a safe and easy place to do that.
Yeah.
I think I was more socially prepared for an experience like college, going to a massive university like Texas A&M, coming from a really small high school, not being, didn't have all my friends already. I didn't know anyone from high school coming with me. I think I was prepared because I went to a place like Sky Ranch and I knew how to build relationships. Also, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I think being a kid is really hard, especially in today's day and age. And let's go be outside, get away from the phones. Let's go fish. Let's go swim. let's go do something awesome.
That's so good.
Oh, that's good, Weston. I think I was going to start with something similar. Like, kids just can't be kids anymore. There's so much thrown at your kids. And that is with technology and what people are saying at school. And they're just getting so many different opinions and thoughts, and so many people telling them who they should be and how they should act and how they should live their life. And I think, man, kids get to come to Sky Ranch for a week, and all of that is gone. There's no technology. There is no one saying, this is going to define you. Oh, you like this is to define you. But no, like, it is Christ who defines you.
Yep.
And that is our identity. And man, your camper will get to come, and they will get to grow in their knowledge of who God is, and to know him deeper, but also have the space to ask questions. We love when campers ask questions because we want to walk alongside them. We say all the time, man, we are coming alongside families in the discipleship of their kids, that we get to join our parents in that, and we get them for a week. And so in that week, they're going to have crazy amounts of fun. They're going to learn what it looks like to make new friends, to be outside, just to, man, have community with one another in a different way. They get to experience at their schools. And it is safe. I mean, I think I touched on this when I was talking about the impact that Sky Ranch had on my life, the way that we train our staff to care for our campers well, that we know the weight that we have, that you are entrusting your camper to us. And we know that, and we don't take that lightly. And so we train and we equip, and we correct, and we do all of this because, man, we want this to be the best environment for your camper, that we know that, like, man, you are giving us your most prized possession, which is your child. And we want to care for them well, and we want to be careful in the way that we're teaching them who God is, and want to do that accurately to what Scripture asks us to do. And so, man, you send your kids to camp, they're going to have a crazy amount of fun and come back knowing who God is, and probably with more questions to come home and ask you because they just learned so much. So
I love that. Wow. Weston, Kylie, thank you so much for sitting down with me today and talking all things camp programming. I know that this is going to encourage our families and the people that listen. And so thank you so much for joining us today. This is actually going to be our last podcast episode of the season before summer starts. Next thing is going to be our parent podcast. So I'm going to be kicking it off to Danny and Logan, who you've already met
Dr. Danny,
on the
What a
podcast.
duo.
And they're going to be walking through each day what your camper's experience is like every day that they're at here at camp. So you're going to want to be sure to tune into those the week that your camper is here at Sky Ranch, if they're here for our overnight summer camp programs. And so we're so grateful that you listened, and we pray that you are blessed. So thank you.